My name is Kat Abughazaleh. I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois. And the Department of Justice is charging 6 people, including myself, with federal crimes for exercising our First Amendment rights near ICE's Broadview processing center. This is a political prosecution and a gross attempt to silence dissent, a right protected under the First Amendment.
So that is Kat Abughazaleh, friend of the show. She's been on the show before. I've appeared on her streams for full disclosure. And we found out yesterday live on the program that she was being indicted by the Trump regime for protesting outside of an ICE facility. And she's now striking back against that. We're gonna get to a little bit of her talking about the weaponization of the government in this case. Take a look.
As I and others have exercised our First Amendment rights, ICE has hit, dragged, thrown, shot with pepper balls, and tear gassed hundreds of protesters, simply because we had the gall to say that masked men coming into our communities, abducting our neighbors, and terrorizing us cannot be our new normal. And because Chicago doesn't back down from bullies in masks who tear gas our neighborhoods, this administration has resorted to weaponizing the federal justice system to scare us into silence. But we're not going to be silent. This case targets our rights to protest, speak freely, and associate with anyone who disagrees with the government. And while we have seen the unhinged and unlawful tactics this administration has used against the American public, it's important to remember they're doing this because they are scared. They are wrong. And they know they are on the wrong side of history.
Obviously, I agree with her there. She has information if you go to her social media about how you can potentially donate to help with the legal fees for this, because they're already they're running a campaign and all that. Now they have this on top of it. And I love that she's not backing down. On top of the fact that she is a candidate who has been participating in these protests for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks at this point, and supporting them in a number of other ways. We need way more candidates like that, those who are actually going to stand for something. And I think, I wonder if this is almost a real misstep by the Trump administration, because this is Kat deserves way more attention nationally for what she's been doing already. And the Democrats don't really want to give it to her. Okay, there's a lot of people running in her congressional race. I'm sure there's probably 5 of them that the Democratic establishment would prefer to have. But this is definitely going to raise her profile, and for something that I think there is a lot of hunger for right now. And so, I don't know, the Trump administration, they think they're being really slick here, very clever. I'm not sure that's how it's actually gonna work out for them. But anyway, as a representation of as an example of how this is gonna help to raise her profile as she fights back against this insanity, she actually appeared on Chris Hayes last night. I wanna give you just a little snippet of that appearance.
What we have seen at Broadview against protesters is horrible. We've been punched, dragged, thrown, shot with pepper balls, tear gassed, rubber bullets from snipers on roofs going into local businesses' windows, and that's all on camera in public. The reason we are protesting, the reason I was protesting, the reason that I have been federally indicted is because what is going on behind the closed doors of that center is immeasurably worse than what we are dealing with on camera.
That is a great point, not only because it's selfless, but also because it's true. ICE obviously does not want people to get into these facilities. And they're even claiming, totally falsely, that during the shutdown, they can't afford to bring Democratic representatives in. You don't do all of this if what's going on there isn't absolutely horrendous. And to stop people from getting in, the stuff they're doing is utterly brutal. And all of it's being captured on tape. And if they're okay with that, what is it that they actually care to hide? I think she raises a great point. And because of this indictment, she now gets to raise it on MSNBC. So again, probably a bit of a misstep from the Republicans in that particular case. So just really fast on to the extent that there's any substance on this, it's implying that she has conspired with other people to intimidate these ICE agents, saying that they banged aggressively on an agent's vehicle and crowded them. And basically, they were Antifa super soldiers who were so scary. So apologies to the TD for going out of order, but I want to play a little bit of the video of this incident. Yeah, the protesters are so aggressive and threatening as that guy picks her up. They're all anonymous. I don't know his name. I'll call him Sergeant. I don't know. So Sergeant picks her up and throws her. And then they all crowd together and they back through the gap in the fence, because if they don't, God only knows what will happen. They're so aggressive, they banged on a vehicle. And what I love about this, and the reason that I want to point it out is, so she put up like a tweet talking about the indictment. And one of the reasons, one of the 50th most important reason that I'm against fascism is because of how it encourages and incentivizes male weakness. And the reason I bring that up is there's all these guys replying to her like, you intimidated those agents. You banged on the vehicle. And it's one thing for like them to put that in an indictment. They obviously don't mean it. But these I'm gonna say men, they're men technically on Twitter. They all now need to pretend to believe it. Yep. Kat Abughazaleh, who's 5'1" or something, she was scaring these agents. They were worried she was gonna murder them. They have to pretend to believe that. And eventually they will believe that. They will just be shrunken down into these tiny little versions of themselves because they have to be, because they have to believe that the opposition is that scary. Even if the opposition's, a 5'1" woman, even if it's a guy twerking in a frog costume, they need to be terrified of it. And it's fascism that did that to them.
If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.